The first thing my daughter said when I found her was, "Dad, why didn't you come back sooner?" She was standing outside an abandoned storage unit at the edge of town. No shoes. Same clothes from the night I went into the hospital. She looked fine. Too fine. That's what didn't sit right. I remember freezing right there. Something in my chest dropped. Not relief. Not panic. Something else. My name is Daniel Cross. I had just been discharged after 8 days in the hospital. Complications from a routine surgery. Or that's what they told me. My wife, Jenna, stopped answering my calls on day 3. By day 5, I knew something was wrong. By day 8, I signed myself out and went straight home. The house was empty. No signs of struggle. No note. Just silence. And my daughter gone. I didn't call the police right away. I don't know why. Something told me to look first. That's how I ended up there, behind that storage facility, staring at my 8-year-old like I was the one who disappeared. I knelt down and hugged her. She didn't hug back. She just kept looking past me. Like someone was standing behind me. I turned around. Nothing. But when I looked back at her, she whispered something I still can't explain. She said I wasn't alone here. I didn't ask who she was. I just grabbed her hand. And that's when I noticed, she wasn't holding mine. She was holding someone else's. I didn't react right away. I just stood there, holding her hand, pretending everything was normal. But I felt it. Her grip wasn't empty. It wasn't loose. Her fingers were wrapped around something, like she didn't want to let go. I told myself I was imagining it. "Let's go home," I said. She nodded. Quiet. Too quiet. On the drive back, she didn't ask questions. Didn't cry. Didn't even look out the window. She just sat there, staring at the dashboard like she was listening to something I couldn't hear. I kept checking the rearview mirror. Nothing behind us. But twice. I thought I saw movement. I didn't say anything. When we got home, the front door was exactly how I left it that morning. Locked. No signs anyone had been inside. That didn't make sense. Jenna was gone. My daughter was gone. But the house felt used. Like someone had been living there quietly. I walked her inside and asked the first question that came to my mind. "Where's your mom?" She didn't answer right away. She walked past me. Straight into the hallway. Then she stopped. "She doesn't like when I talk about her," she said. I frowned. "Who?" My daughter turned her head slightly. Not toward me. Toward the corner of the ceiling. That same empty look. "That's where she stays," she whispered. I followed her eyes. Nothing there. Just a dark corner. But something about it felt wrong. Like I shouldn't have looked at it for too long. And then, the house creaked. Not from the floor. From above us. I didn't move right away. I just listened. The sound came again. Slow. Heavy. Like someone shifting their weight upstairs. We don't have an upstairs. That's what hit me first. Our house is one level. Always has been. I looked at my daughter. She didn't seem surprised. She just stood there, still staring at that corner like she was waiting for something to happen. "Did you hear that?" I asked. She nodded once. "She walks at night," she said. Calm. Like it was normal. Something in me tightened. I checked every room. Closets. Bathroom. Garage. Nothing out of place. No forced entry. No sign anyone had been there. But I couldn't shake the feeling. That quiet, heavy feeling like someone was just out of sight. When I came back to the hallway, my daughter was gone. For a second, my chest locked up. Then I heard her voice. Soft. Coming from my bedroom. I walked in slowly. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, talking to someone. I couldn't hear the other voice. But I could tell, she was answering questions. "Yes, he's here now," she said. Pause. "No, he didn't see." Another pause. Then she smiled. Not at me. "Okay. I won't tell him yet." My throat went dry. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. She looked at me like I interrupted something important. Then she tilted her head slightly. She said, "You're not ready." "Ready for what?" She didn't answer. She just looked past me again. Toward the doorway. And for the first time, I felt it clearly. I wasn't alone in that room. I stepped out of that room slower than I went in. I didn't want to turn my back to that doorway. Something about it felt wrong. Like crossing a line I didn't understand. I kept my daughter close the rest of the evening. Sat her at the kitchen table. Made her food. Watched her eat. She used to talk non-stop. That night, she didn't say a word. Just once, she paused, like she was listening again. Then she nodded. To no one. I didn't ask. I needed answers somewhere else. So I picked up my phone and called Jenna. Straight to voicemail. Again. Same thing. That's when I checked our shared bank account. My stomach dropped. Large withdrawals. Cash. Over the past week. Almost everything gone. She planned this. I went through the house again. Slower this time. That's when I noticed something new. The hallway closet door. Slightly open. We always kept it shut. Inside, nothing looked disturbed. Coats. Shoes. Boxes. But on the inside of the door. There were marks. Scratches. Deep. Repeated. Like someone had been clawing from the inside. I stepped back. That's where she stayed before, my daughter said behind me. I turned fast. Who? She looked at the closet. Mom put her in there. Everything in me went cold. What are you talking about? My daughter blinked slowly. She said Mom didn't believe her either, until she came out. I felt my hands go numb. Came out from where? My daughter pointed. Not at the closet. At me. I didn't react. Not the way most people would. I just stood there, breathing slow, thinking. That's how I've always handled things. Not panic. Not noise. Just quiet thinking. Because something about this didn't feel random anymore. It felt planned. Go sit in the living room, I told my daughter. She obeyed without a word. I closed the closet door carefully. Not fully. Just enough to leave it how I found it. Then I stepped outside and made 2 calls. First, to a locksmith I trusted. Second, to an old friend, Marcus. He used to work private security. The kind of guy who notices details others miss. I didn't explain everything. Just told him something wasn't right in my house. He said he'd be there in an hour. When I went back inside, my daughter was sitting exactly where I left her. But something had changed. The TV was on. Static. We don't get static anymore. I grabbed the remote. Turned it off. She looked up at me slowly. She doesn't like when you ignore her, she said. I didn't respond. I walked around the house again, this time looking for patterns. And I found one. Small things. Objects slightly moved. Doors not fully closed. Windows unlocked from the inside. Someone had been here. Not just once. 4 days. I went to my bedroom and opened the drawer where I keep my documents. Birth certificates. IDs. My daughter's file was missing. That's when it clicked. Jenna didn't just leave. She took something with her. And left something else behind. Marcus texted, I'm outside. I looked at the front door. Then at my daughter. She was already staring at it. Waiting. Like she knew who was coming. I opened the door just enough to see Marcus. Same calm face. Same sharp eyes. He scanned past me before even stepping in. You look like hell, he said. I feel worse, I replied. He didn't ask questions. Just walked in like he already understood this wasn't normal. The moment he stepped inside, he slowed down. That told me everything. You feel it too? I asked quietly. He didn't answer right away. Just glanced at the hallway, then at the ceiling corners. Yeah, he said. Something's off. My daughter was still on the couch. She looked at Marcus, then slightly to his left. Like someone stood beside him. She doesn't like him, she said. Marcus paused. Who doesn't? My daughter didn't respond. I stepped in. I need you to check the house. Everything. He nodded. We started with the basics. Doors. Windows. Locks. Then he noticed it. A small black device, tucked behind a vent near the hallway. Hidden. Clean. Recently placed. He pulled it out. Camera. My stomach dropped. We found 2 more. One in the living room. One in my bedroom. All facing inward. Recording everything. Marcus looked at me. This isn't random. Someone's been watching you. I already knew who. Jenna. But this didn't feel like just her. This felt bigger. Then Marcus checked the last one. The storage unit. He froze. What? I asked. He turned the screen toward me. Footage. My daughter, standing alone. Then suddenly, her hand lifted. Like someone took it. But there was no one there. Marcus looked at me, serious now. You've got more than one problem. I didn't panic. That's the one thing I kept control of. Because now I understood something clearly. Jenna didn't just leave. She set this up. And she made sure I would see it. Can you pull more footage? I asked Marcus. He nodded. If the feed's still active, yeah. We sat at the kitchen table while he worked off his laptop. My daughter stayed in the living room, quiet, like she was listening to something we couldn't hear. Minutes passed. Then Marcus turned the screen toward me again. Look at this, he said. It was from inside the house. My house. 2 nights ago. Jenna, walking through the hallway. Calm. No panic. Like she wasn't alone. She stopped in front of the closet. Opened it. And stepped back. Like she was letting someone out. My chest tightened. What the hell is she doing? Marcus muttered. Then Jenna spoke. Clear as day on the audio. I did what you asked. Now leave him alone. Silence. Then. The closet door moved. Not fast. Slow. From the inside. I felt my hands go cold again. Marcus paused the footage. Daniel, this isn't about surveillance anymore. I nodded. I know. Because something else clicked. Jenna didn't abandon our daughter. She got rid of her. And replaced her. I stood up slowly. Looked toward the living room. My daughter was still there. Sitting. Waiting. Then she smiled at me. But this time, it wasn't her smile. Now you're ready, she said. I didn't move right away. I just stood there, watching her, watching that smile that didn't belong to my daughter. Everything finally made sense. Jenna didn't lose her mind. She figured it out before I did. And she tried to get out. Marcus stood beside me, quiet. Waiting for me to decide what to do. I took a slow breath and walked into the living room. Where is my daughter? I asked. No anger. No shouting. Just the truth. She tilted her head slightly. Safe, she said. I didn't blink. Where? A small pause. Then she pointed toward the front door. Not here. That was enough. I looked at Marcus. Call the police. Now. He didn't argue. While he stepped outside, I stayed right there. Calm. Watching her. Or whatever was sitting in my daughter's place. Minutes later, the police arrived. I handed them everything. The cameras. The footage. Jenna's last appearance. They took it seriously. More than I expected. Search teams were sent out that same night. 3 hours later. They found her. My daughter. Alive. At another storage facility across town. Locked inside. Scared. But safe. I didn't ask how. I didn't ask why. Because when I came back home. The house was empty. No sign of her. No sound. Nothing. Just one thing left behind. The closet door, slightly open again. And deep inside it. Fresh scratches. From the inside. I locked it. But some nights. I still hear it. Waiting.